What's going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another Solo Leveling Arise and Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive video. Alright guys, we're going to do a little bit of a comparison here. We're going to talk about both games, what they should feed off of one another, and how they should amalgamate some of those features, and hopefully some things we have in both games will kind of be featured in each other. Now remember, this is an absolute demo. This is Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive. For those who don't know, because a lot of people still ask, this will be out for Xbox and PC right now, specifically for Steam, and will be not for mobile, and it is a purchase to play game. It's a one-time purchase. There is no gacha system in it in terms of the at least the purchase portion of it. Now we don't know if there's going to be battle passes or anything like that. They may include that in the game to make a little bit more money, but from what we've seen in the demo, it does not exist, and we don't know what their plans are for the future. But let's talk a little bit about some of the features that this game has that we would love to see in Solo Leveling Arise when this releases in fall. Hopefully they can also do a system like this to cover some of the actual good things that Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive has. So first off, let's talk about the world map. I kind of like this feature. This is actually really cool. So this is very similar to what you guys are used to in Arise when it comes down to your gates, right? Everyone's used to seeing these things with the gates. You guys can see this. These are like little particular missions in chapter 1 that you can do. And the beauty of here is you can actually do them either solo, or you can create a lobby and play with it with friends, or you can join a lobby and play with that as well. It actually does tell you some of the details in terms of the drops, so that's kind of cool as well. You get yourself equipment, some of these team info like special recording devices. And then there's other things like material, like mana rocks and crystals, right? So allow you to craft stuff. Now, all of this stuff here is important because you're going to do a few different things. You're going to be able to get yourself material throughout the game that will allow you to either craft weapons, gear yourself up, or get commendations in order to summon, or not summon, I guess, in this case, attract the resumes of the characters you want. Okay, so that's kind of cool there. You can also see right over here, you can set up your confirmation of your team. This is a SJW fight, so you guys can see I do have Igris now as a shadow, and this is my current team setup going forward. Okay, so here I'm going to show you guys how this works. Okay, so let's go into the fight. One thing I do like in this game that I really want them to include, you guys can see there's no TP, right? There's no combat power, which is actually really refreshing for Solo Leveling Overdrive. And then you guys can see right over here the potion system. I actually really like this. I'm going to move my camera over here so you guys can see it a little better. Right there, that potion system is actually one of the coolest things in this game. This is more in tune to the manhwa and how normal action RPGs work, like Diablo and stuff, right? The cool thing here is you can also add a little accessory with the potion. For example, this one over here that I have equipped is allowing me to have more recovery rate, more usage of the actual potions, and also as a bonus effect here, as a passive, they have the user attack increases slightly for a certain period of time. I would actually love to see potions. And the cool thing is with your potions, you can actually increase the quality of your potion by crafting new ones. So let's go ahead and jump into this and talk a little bit more about the combat system and how we can advance Solo Leveling Arise a little bit with some of the features that are in the Solo Leveling Arise Overdrive world. So the first one that always comes to mind, of course, is this part's the same. Obviously, you guys are used to this, I'm sure. The gates is going to be the parry system. The parry system in this game is actually really well done, and it's very simplified. It's not like a Sekiro parry or, something that's a little more difficult. Once you get Sekiro, down as well, you're pretty good about it. But you guys can see the parry system right there allows you to counter attack and hit mobs. And you still have the shadow step feature that still exists, right? So you can still shadow step everything, but at the same time, it allows you. This system allows you to parry and knock things back, have a better break bar, and allows you to also, have a different system of defense rather than just dodging everything, I think, which is really cool. Another thing I really like in this, you guys saw me claiming an item right there, right? I do like the fact that you can actually claim items like an RPG. So that kind of is cool as well, too, where you don't have to wait till the end of your run to see what you're getting, right? There's a parry system as well. I think that's a really awesome feature, and they should include that as well in Solo Leveling Arise. It'd be nice to see in real time what we're getting rather than waiting until the end of the fight. So that's another cool thing. Now, what can this game add that Solo Leveling Arise has? All right, let's talk about the other way, the flip side. One thing I do like about this is the fact that you actually get to have, with Solo Leveling Arise, you get to see the debuffs. In this game, you don't get to see debuffs for the most part that I've seen on the bar of the enemies, right? You guys can see the enemy right there has a bar. You guys can see right over here, I'm going to be attacking them with Shadow Step right now. Normally, Shadow Step will cause defense down. In this case, you don't see it. You see back attacks, which I think is really cool that they show that. And you don't see the fact that there is no debuff on the opponent. No matter what I do, the debuffs are not there. But I do like this back attack. I wish that they were more obvious in Solo Leveling Arise when you do a back attack, because then your blessings and everything would affect it as well. You guys can see Igris here is just up and running. I don't know where his timer is. He doesn't move. He just stays around, right? So this is really another cool feature that I like. There you guys go. It's gone. One thing I will say, though, it is nice to have the timer for solo leveling on the cooldown, but you really don't lose your shadows before they're back up. So that's kind of cool. Shadows are almost up almost at all times from what I've seen. So that part's cool. It'd be nice if solo leveling Arise could kind of have that same feature. So that way your shadows are always up and running and you don't have to worry too much about it, right? So here you go, I'm summoning him again, and that's there right there for you, right? So yeah, it would be nice to have the debuffs shown on the mobs rather than, you know, no debuffs at all. So that'd be cool from solo leveling Arise purposes. Now, from this game, one other thing I really like as well too is you can switch your weapon whenever you want. There's no more having to cast a skill in order to switch weapon. I think that's an awesome feature, and one they should definitely add into the game. Now, you guys can see here I'm breaking. There's a break bar. One thing I will say, solo leveling Arise does a better job with the break bar. Solo leveling Arise break bar actually shows. And then also at the same time, you'll see when it's starting to come back. In this game, the break bar pretty much just returns instantly. It's crazy. I don't know what the deal is behind that, but it just comes right back. So I'm not sure why that is or how they can change that, but I hope that in the real version when this comes out, that they actually do modify that a little bit, okay? Now, another thing that I kind of wish they went away from here is artifact enhancements. Now, you can't, from what I've seen and heard from people who are further ahead than me, no one is able to currently enhance their artifacts. But yes, the RNG system for artifacts does exist still, guys. Okay, so I'm going to go into that. I'll show you guys real quick. Here's your artifact system. One cool thing about the artifact system, I will say though, is that specific armor has stats built for characters. So for example, the assassin's helmet, because I'm an assassin, has the main stats that I need, which is going to be additional attack and critical hit damage. But if I go to the helmet over here, which is, let's say, the Palace Guard one, it only has additional defense and HP. So I kind of do like that part. Now, where the RNG aspect of it comes in is, of course, the actual main stats that you're getting. You guys can see right there, it says +0, right? I actually can't upgrade this right now. I can't. There's no way to upgrade it. I don't think it's the features in the game yet, but they will eventually add it. But you guys can see specific weapons or specific armor gives specific stats based on the role that the character has. And in this case, the Palace Guard is a tank role. So you give this to your tanks or your healers, right? And then you guys can see the Obsidian Ring, for example, where we have a different effect, has a different effect in this game as well. This one here gives you dark damage instead and inflicts haunt, and you guys can see the actual elemental damages on the rings. I kind of like this more. I like this setup a little bit more. Now, I can't talk about the actual artifact RNG portion of it because it doesn't exist yet, right? But once it does exist, we'll talk more about that. But I do like the sets here a lot more than I do like in Arise. I think this makes more sense. For example, like, why the hell would Palace Guard have the stats for somebody who is a DPS, right? It is a Palace Guard, a guard, keyword, right? It should actually be for units who are tanky. So that part I do like a lot, and I kind of hope that SLA does eventually adopt this, although I don't think they will. We're too far deep in there. But I do find the simplified version of the artifact system here a little bit easier. But I don't know how the artifact system will work when it comes down to enhancing. So that's going to be interesting. All right, another system I really like in this is going to be the actual crafting system. The crafting system is really, really well done here, but I also don't know how complicated it will be end game. I'm assuming there's going to be quite a bit of grinding that they're going to do, and I kind of wish the crafting system in SLA was more like this. It's way more simplified in SLA. You get the item you need by crafting, getting gold tickets, and then doing that, right? But I kind of do like this version of it. You guys can see you need specific items before you can craft anything, and you need the older version of that item as well too in order to move on to the next item. So for example, if I want to get this Lycan gun, right, I can get this Lycan Slayer item first, and then I move over to here, etc. Right? So that's kind of a cool feature. And another feature that I really enjoy as well too is the skill tree. I think we should get a skill tree for SJW as well too. Instead of, like, we have blessing stones in this game, so that's kind of cool. But this skill tree right here, I'm gonna show you guys real quick what it looks like. Right over here, allows you to put points into different places. So for example, if you want to be an assassin, you can put your points in assassin. If you want to be the duelist, you can put your points into duelist instead, or elementalist, or ruler, right? So all of this stuff exists for you to have a different look and feel for your classes that you want to go with. And then there's the specific classes with the weapons you want to choose, whether it's a dagger, a focus, a two-handed weapon, etc. You guys can see I'm focusing on daggers. At least that was the goal originally. There it is. And then I'm going to move on to probably a ranged weapon after that. So this is a really cool feature that I kind of hope SLA eventually gets, but this is very common for action RPGs to have on a console or PC version. And then of course there's the physique section here, which gives you just general stats for you to use, such as crit hit rate, etc. Right? So this is a cool feature as well. And you guys can see the same stats exist. Defense pen exists, critical hit rate, critical hit damage, all that stuff does exist. And you can also do the same thing with your monarchs, allowing you to get more damage through your monarch's transformation, which I think, if they're being honest with themselves, they should add that into SLA as well too when this game releases. That should be one of our ultimates where we transform into the Shadow Monarch, which could very well be a good feature to have, of course, right? All right, another thing that we should have. This is a big one. We've been asking for this from day one, right? From day one is the dummy feature, the test dummy feature specifically, right? So if I go here for a second, let's just say I want to pick this. I want to do co-op, create a lobby. I'm going to go and create a lobby here real quick, right? So let's create a co-op lobby. I'll just make it private for now. That way we don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to enter it. Oh, I have to put a password. Well, it's whatever. We'll put whatever. It doesn't really matter. I want to show you guys the dummy. Now, a couple of things to note about the dummy. They could definitely do a good job improving this, I think, with the original version, but the fact that they have test dummies is a good sign. Definitely for SLA and for this game, the dummies should have a couple different things. Number one, you should be able to change your dummy's levels and also what your dummy does, and also the element of your dummy. So you can see different stats based on elements and stuff as well, too, right? You guys can see right here, you don't see any elements. You just see back attack and regular attack. So right there. So this is kind of cool. It's nice to have that, but actually, there you go. There's the elements there. It looks like the skill didn't have elements. So actually, no, you can't see your elements. I take that back. Yeah, there you go. So it does show elements. It's just based on the weapon you're using. So one thing I will say, I don't know where this is, and perhaps if someone's watching this video can inform me here, but I don't seem to see a total tally of damage on the dummies. This was one of my complaints when I first saw this. It's great that we have a testing dummy, but like, how do you see how much damage you've done? You guys can see it, the numbers are there, but I don't get to see the actual damage of the dummy. So I'm going to go to tab here. You guys can see co-op lobby info, like I have all of this. Change co-op settings. This is all here for that. If I go back out here for a second, if I go to conversation log, nothing in here. If I go to switch formation, this is just to switch characters out. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on and how this works, or why I can't see my total damage, right? It's weird, and I don't know how to fix that. So if somebody's watching this and you guys know where to go to see the total damage, if there's, I'm trying to look around the room, it'd be nice to see that, but it looks like it doesn't exist. But either way, this testing dummy feature has been what we're wanting in SLA for a very long time, and I hope they do actually implement this. And then lastly, honestly, I'm gonna say this, I know because we wanted a proper co-op. I'd say having a co-op like this in SLA would also be very good, but I don't know if SLA can handle it. All the mobile phones that would just blow up, but it'd be nice to eventually have a feature like this in the game, because I think they've done a actually fairly decent job with the co-op here. I just feel like there's just not enough content for co-op right now, but it is the demo. So again, I don't want to shit on this game until I actually play it for real, but so far the demo's actually been pretty smooth. I haven't had too many problems. I've had a couple times where the game just kind of backed out of the demo because either somebody dropped out or it just didn't load. Again, demo version, right? So I'm hoping the real live version does come out. But there's a couple features I would love to see. The biggest one from Arise, I think my biggest complaint from going from Arise to here would be the fact that I don't get to see debuffs on opponents, and I think that's the only one really that I care about having here. Everything else in this game looks fairly decent. I know I talked about auto, and I know many of you guys don't agree with it, and again, I just want to reiterate, the auto is only for menial tasks, for things that you don't want to do 1,000 times over, such as farming simple things. That's all I meant for auto. I don't ever play the game auto on my, even for SLA. It's just an option, right? And I always said make it optional, right? But I know a lot of people don't agree with that, and that's fine. You don't have to. I have a different life than some of you guys, but I still think having an auto feature for, levels that you want to grind, whether if you're way too overpowered for, it'd be nice to have, right? And again, that's not a necessity. It's just make it optional. But that's about it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If there's any other features you'd love to see from here to SLA, would love to know your thoughts, and vice versa as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.